All right, welcome everybody to the April Dynamics 365 Partner Community Call. This month we're going to be having a deeper dive on Power Apps and Flow with one of our guest speakers, and we're going to be going into some demos also. He's also going to be discussing the Power Apps Partner Program. I know we have a lot of questions still from a partner perspective on how to monetize Power Apps and Flow. So I'd like to introduce Asif Berenson. He is one of our success partner managers with the engineering group. Asif, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bob. Hello, everyone. Nice to be back here talking to you about Power Apps today. So since we last talked, we had tremendous progress both on the product side as well as in terms of customer usage. So I want to share with you today more about Power Apps, what it is it good for those that are still new to this area, and share about some of the programs that we put together to have partners build and expand their practices using Power Apps and Microsoft Flow, and then share some few quick demos to show you some of the integration points we've done with other Microsoft products, and then answer any questions that you might have. So Power Apps is a new product that we launched back in November, along with a product called Microsoft Flow. Together, those products cover a big area, which we see in enterprises where customers have tremendous amount of business processes and use cases where they need applications and automation that is required to streamline business processes. However, lack of resources in terms of development, traditional development, software engineers is these are mostly unmet. So if you know, we usually have seen central IT can focus on the big items like system of records, legacy type of applications, line of business applications, the big line of business applications, CRM, CRM, ERP, manufacturing, those type of things. But in between, there's a lot of other needs and use cases that are never get attended because of those lack of resources. And so this is where the problem statement and the market opportunity for partners to come in and help customers automate their business processes much faster without using development or traditional development practices, that requires highly skilled and resources. And so Power Apps is basically a SaaS offering as a service to be able to create applications without using code. So you could use your consultants and architects and those people that might have good skills in terms of business process analysis and understand the customer needs. They might be good in terms of creating, for example, business analytics dashboards like Power BI or other products out there. They understand the concept of an app, what it means. But other than that, they're not necessarily a professional developer using professional development tools. So with the Power Apps, you can actually create applications, real applications that can run on browsers or on mobile devices in a matter of hours. You either start from a blank template or you start from pre-configured templates that Microsoft or other partners have published. And you can always edit those as you would edit a PowerPoint deck or a document. Now that comes in a context of a bigger solution environment, something that we've seen customers really kind of very energized about, which is the measure, act, and automate. So if you think about customers have a lot of data, they use a lot of business analytics tools to get insights from this data, and so they measure different key performance indicators. They look at different performance metrics in their organizations, so they get a lot of insight. But then, what we see is many times there's some actions that need to be taken to act on those measurements, and so this is where PowerApps comes in to take action using applications that we can create and integrates well with business analytics tools. And after that, you also automate some of those workflows to streamline operations and get something done. And that's where we see Microsoft Flow comes in. So across those three products, these are all SaaS products. Doesn't require professional developers or someone that have professional skills in terms of using real code. And you can start very quickly and always edit and streamline as you move forward. So where we've seen today, there's very few development resources out there in our account, in our customer base, as well as in some of our partner ecosystem. We know that this is a big issue. And so this is where Microsoft PowerApps comes in. Very easily you can connect to systems that our customers are already using. So a lot of the data that sits inside legacy systems, databases, you can now take advantage of those and connect to those systems with a set of connectors that are being shipped with the product. And then you build those apps without writing code using the PowerApps Studio. And then very easily you can publish those apps across the organization like you would share a document. And so this is all authenticated apps. That means that anyone connected to Active Directory can access those applications and start using them very quickly. So I mentioned the PowerApps Studio. That is basically the place where those applications get created. You can download those from the Microsoft Store or from PowerApps.com. There's a rich client studio that gets installed on the machine itself, on the laptop, and you can use that to edit and create those applications. And there's also a web authoring tool for those that prefer using a web browser instead of downloading on a laptop, or they might be using a non-Windows 10 or non-Windows 8 machines that doesn't support the Microsoft Studio. As I mentioned, with the product also, we have a set of connector infrastructure. Today there's over 40 of those, and those we keep adding more and more connectors into different systems, third-party systems as well as Microsoft first-party systems to connect very easily, as well as capability to create custom APIs for those systems that we don't have a standard connectors. So you can create custom APIs with the RESTful APIs that connect to any system that has a RESTful API inside the organization. In addition, there was a lot of integration that was done already with Office 365 as well as with Dynamics. In terms of Office, PowerApps and Flow are built into SharePoint modern list, and I'll show a demo in a few minutes. But essentially, today with SharePoint Online, the modern list has PowerApps and Flow well integrated into the product, so you can turn any list into an application and a workflow in a click of a button without using any line of code. Same goes with Dynamics 365. So if you're using Dynamics 365 today, you'll be able to see all of your applications, including the PowerApps application, in the same portal, the application portal. And so, very good integration there. So front and center for any Dynamics user will be able to see all their applications, including those that were created using PowerApps. We definitely see a lot of use cases where Dynamics customers that already implemented CRM and ERP solutions, they want to customize or build custom apps to solve some specific custom issues. And so this is where PowerApps comes in very effectively. Some of the common use cases that we've seen, obviously there's a lot of those in different areas of the businesses. Ones that we've seen emerging very quickly is around human capital management or HR in general. HR is a big department in most of our customers, and there's so many use cases that never get met because of lack of resources. And so think about vacation approvals, time in field forms, requesting all kinds of things from HR, giving feedback. A lot of those can be automated, put in an app, and that users can access from their mobile device on the go. For example, internally at Microsoft, we have about a dozen of those applications that are going to be rolled out to all of our employees, and that improves the productivity and also the satisfaction. So, a lot of customers use that to attract and retain new talent. In addition to that, anything to do with employee engagement, things like campus apps, for different use cases that big customers have. A lot around the Salesforce, so enabling the field engineers or field sales people on the go with access to data, being able to update account records, being able to pull pricing or inventory very easily from their device. And then a lot about quality control and streamlining manufacturing, especially in places where there's a lot of manual processes. And so we've seen many examples of manual or semi-manual processes, or even those that are completely paper-based, that are transformed to digital with PowerApps. And so that obviously saves a lot of time and money and create business opportunities for partners to help their customers innovate in the floor plan. So a few examples from our partners that I'd like to share and give you some highlights of how partners are making money and innovating with their customers. So here's an example here from a partner called NIN Analytics. NIN Analytics is actually a business analytics partner of ours using Power BI for the most part. They've been working with Mars Drinks. Mars Drinks has a business of providing vending machines in most Europe and in the United States. Those vending machines are located in a lot of locations, and they have to be replenished on an ongoing basis. And so Analytics was hired to do a business analytics and IoT program to be able to detect more effectively where those vending machines needs to be replenished or needs to have a maintenance appointment, and enable a much easier and more effective operations of those vending machines. So that was more on the business analytics, and side, and they put some IoT devices on those machines to be able to collect the data and put it into a database and do some analytics on it. But once they got all this insight, they thought about, how can we take this data and apply some of those applications that can help the field engineers that service those vending machines and the truck drivers that replenish those machines to be able to figure out, more effective ways to when to schedule a maintenance call, when to serve the vending machines, what is the best route, and how to streamline the best way to load their trucks in an effective manner. And so they've basically created an application for the field engineers and the truck drivers that gives them early in the morning, they can get their route. They know exactly which vending machine has to be treated first. They know what to load on those trucks, and once they get into the vending machine itself, they know exactly what to load on those machines, and then also write back into the database about any other issues that they're seeing or approving that the vending machine was serviced. And so that project have saved about 40% of the operations cost, and obviously improved the quality of service that Mouse Drinks provides to their customers. And so, great value that Near Analytics was able to deliver to their customer. Here's another example from a company called Transalta. This is an energy company in Europe. They basically have those wind turbines that are located in remote areas. And then what they wanted to do was to figure out what is the return on investment of sending an engineer to those remote locations where a turbine might be malfunctioning. So sometimes the cost of sending someone, a service team, to the remote locations might cost much too high relative to the return that you might get from that particular turbine, specifically in wind locations where there might be not a lot of energy get created. And so they wanted to be able to do it very quickly and be able to determine a go, no-go type of decision. And so they've collected all this data from those turbines, were able to pull it into a database and have an application that was created without a single line of code in a matter of a couple of weeks. More on the manufacturing side, here's a partner called Confluent. Confluent is helping manufacturing companies to digitize their manufacturing processes. In this case, they've been working with multiple customers here and were able to sell these solutions multiple times already. In this case, they basically took a completely manual process, paper-based process of big motor repair shops where they admit a new engine to the factory. They have to go through a long inspection process, and that was all paper-based, using pen and paper and taking pictures and attaching them to the folder. And if there's someone, multiple people work on that, there's a lot of issues with what is the latest statement. And so they basically worked with the manufacturing team on the floor and, took all of this process and digitized it, made it work on tablets. And now, we have an application with 70 screens about taking all of this data, being able to automate everything. Everything's digitized. You can have multiple people working on the same engine. You can always have the data right in their fingertips. And now we also can share that information with their customers remotely, so that way they can improve the customer satisfaction as well. So great example here from on the manufacturing side. So these are some of the examples that we've seen our partners innovating and obviously extending existing practices, whether it's Dynamics or business analytics, and using non-developers to be able to build custom solutions and monetize those resources much more effectively. So a little bit about the packaging and pricing. Some of the partners have questions about that as well. So at a high level, PowerApps and Microsoft Flow both comes as part of Office 365 and Dynamics 365, all plans, all SKUs. So basically, any customer using Dynamics 365 or Office 365 today are eligible for using to consume applications that were created with PowerApps and Flow. That gives them what we call the standard capabilities. That means they can connect to systems or applications that were created in the context of Office 365 or Dynamics 365. Now, there is a paid standalone license called P1 and P2. Those licenses are paid licenses in terms of premium services. For example, if there's other systems that are not part of the Office 365 or Dynamics 365, for example, connecting to one of those connectors that were created, the premium connectors, then that will require a PA1 license. There's also the common data service, which comes with PowerApps. That will, if application is building on top of the common data service, that will require the P1 license as well. The P2 license, adding additional capabilities, including more capacity in terms of workflows and faster time of processing those workflows, as well as bigger quotas. And then a big capability that is included in the P2 license is also the application lifecycle management and IT administrations. For those that have many applications and IT wants to be able to manage access and governance. So that's essentially kind of the pricing and packaging. I'll have at this point, I'd like to share with you a couple of demos, and so if you can call Saurabh from the team and have you join Saurabh and have him share with you some of the demos to give you more examples of use cases that we've seen with PowerApps and Flow.
Yeah. Hey, hello everyone. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'll take over Asaf to present. And again, this is a small enough audience. Please do speak up from what you heard with Asaf, what you'd like to see. And we can...
Yeah. There's about 40 people. This is an event.
Okay, sorry. Then, okay, I can just type in your questions. I underestimated the audience, and we can discuss those. So what I wanted to show was a few things. Pratap mentioned, Asaf mentioned a set of customer wins for you. One of them that Asaf talked about was Mars, where we built a refiller scenario. Here I'm just showing you the same project in PowerApps Studio. So what we have here and what you're seeing is the Studio, the Windows Studio. We also have an equivalent web version that I'll show you as well. Our plan is for the web and the Windows one to be in parity in terms of design capabilities. But today, if you're starting on a project, the web is still in preview, so we recommend using the Windows client. So here's the same project that Mars talked about. Do we give you a quick look at this application to give you a feel of the type of applications people build with PowerApps? This one is naturally a field worker scenario, and another piece where having something that uses the mobile devices and allows you to bring your own device has a lot of value, and there is very few technology that will let you do what PowerApps lets you do today from a cross-platform development perspective, like build once and have it run across all these platforms. So this app that we built for Mars was focused on the filling up the vending machines, and it was built specifically for that persona. Another piece to keep in mind, and especially as you look at it from a Dynamics portfolio perspective, is that there will always be solutions that come out of the box. We in the Dynamics world have solutions for anything that's horizontal and applies broadly, right? If it's a mobile field worker, service agent type of scenario, there will be offerings that come out of the box. And in those scenarios, for a customer to use what comes out of the box makes a lot of sense. Where PowerApp fits in really well is about customization. If someone wants a filler scenario, an application built specifically around their persona that goes and fills vending machine, that is something not a typical SaaS offering will be targeted around. But something can be built fairly easily and economically on top of the same CRM or ERP or SharePoint or custom API data using PowerApps. So again, I'm showing this purely in the studio, but it runs on all mobile devices. You see we have APIs getting weather information from SQL. In this particular case, from SQL Azure, we get information about what the route looks like, how many kilometers the person will be covered in the day. Actually comes from Google API that are actually calculating this based on GPS information. The first screen that we bring up talks about what the filler needs to fill into the truck to begin with. They can filter it by different criteria. Then they get a list of customers they need to meet for the day. If they click on a particular item, it opens up Google Maps, and it will, on a mobile devices, give you turn-by-turn directions as well. So again, integration in that sense with mobile capabilities. Once you arrive at a particular location, it tells you what to load onto your dolly. It tells you how many vending machines the particular customer has, and even what slot in which vending machine to put what. If you have an issue, you can report that. You can take images. Hey guys, so you get to do that. You get to take notes, submit requests, and complete. So again, a typical field worker scenario, but built very specifically around a customer's need for that particular usage. So here's you saw the app running in Studio. When you look at Studio itself, you'll notice it's built for Office persona in mind. It's for anyone who's used PowerPoint before, anyone who's used Excel before. It should seem very intuitive, just like you have cells and you can get data in here, your ability to choose different properties of a particular text. You can write basic functions that connect to it. So it's a power user, business workers focused usability scenario that lets you build these powerful apps that can be used in the enterprise. I'll give you a little bit more of a demo of the studio itself, but I wanted to also talk about one other use case, especially for our CRM friends who might be on the call. So Metrobank is a big CRM customer, and they pretty much run their business on our Dynamics for Sales offering, Dynamics 365 for Sales offering. And what they've done working with PowerApps is built an app for the persona of the greeter. So when someone enters their, now this is not, it's being used in pilot right now, so we cannot talk about this scenario publicly, but internally, they built an app on top of CRM data that when someone comes into a store, a greeter reads them on the door with a tablet app. In this case, it runs on a surface. They take the customer information, and this is what the screenshot of it look like. What it basically allows them to do is look at the customer, match the customer with the service agents they have available. If a service agent will not be available for a while, it also helps up set up flows that will allow them to be notified either by email or text or phone call when the agent does become available, so they can maybe go out, do some shopping, and then continue coming back to the business as needed. So a scenario where, in this particular case, a very specialized interface that Metro Bank was looking for, they were able to build using PowerApps, using their PowerApps, using their existing Dynamics license, so no new licensing cost in here, and again using their existing backend, using a CRM connector without having to write any code per se. They had to design the application, but all the backend logic of connecting to CRM, talking to it, was just handled by the platform itself. So here, to give you also a flavor of what PowerApp looks like. So here I'm logged into PowerApp with one of our demo accounts as Megan. When you look at PowerApps, and again, if you guys have familiarity with it, I'll go through quick on the basic concepts. But here I'm seeing all the, clicked on something. Well, actually I clicked on guided learning, which actually is a good point to call out anyway. It's a great piece to get started on PowerApps. There's a link to guided learning right here on the PowerApps homepage itself, very predominantly displayed, and it has a set of videos and tutorials that will guide you through your early learning on PowerApps. In addition, within the product, it comes with a list of sample apps that you can use. These sample apps, by definition, just work on dummy data, but they're a great way of showing your customers as well as learning yourself on what sort of scenarios are possible with PowerApps and actually see them running. So in this case, I clicked on a few. Here's the asset checkout. We actually have United Work, which is a volunteer organization in New York, actually building an asset checkout based on this sample, which we also offer as a template. So if this is a typical scenario where there are different devices that you potentially might want to check out and then track who's checked out what. So here's a scenario of how that could be built in PowerApps. Here's another sample that comes with PowerApps. This is more around assisted sales or a kiosk scenario. So if you have a device you're selling and you would like to have a custom-built app that helps you display that device potentially at a trade show or others, you can use PowerApps to build that as well. So to get started with PowerApps, this is the sample piece. I think the easiest way to get started with PowerApps. The next step is what we call connected samples. Now, connected samples are again samples, but again, instead of working with dummy data, they actually work against, you need to sign into the backend, and they work against your data. So for example, if you do opportunity tracking, this one actually will talk to a real Salesforce database. If you do org browser, this will talk to O365 and allow you to look at your organization hierarchy, who reports to whom, who's got what reports, talking to O365. So these are another quick ways of just clicking, getting them set up, logging in with your identity, and having connected samples working. The next piece that comes with PowerApps is when you start to create a new project, there are a few ways to do it. So one is more of a data-first approach where you can point it to a source, existing source of data. So here we have the common data service, which we can maybe talk about towards the end. Dynamic, if you're talking to ERP backend, if you're talking to a sales backend, you can point it to entity, like a case entity, a customer entity within your Dynamics 365 account, and we'll create a basic CRUD application for you that creates, reads, updates, delete that particular entity. Now, this is purely a starting point, but one of the quickest starting points of getting started to operate against a well-known data source. So here's, if you have an Excel sheet on OneDrive for data, you can operate against that. SharePoint list, very popular. Salesforce is there as well from a third-party perspective. So you can always start with data, and I'll demo that in a bit as well. Or you can start with a blank application. Or you can choose to, again, use templates. And I showed you earlier some sample applications. Some of the sample applications we make available as a template, meaning that in this case, And I guess the asset checkout is one of them. You saw them as a sample. They're also available as a template. And the difference here being that you, as opposed to sample, you actually get the source code per se in code, source code for PowerApps, and then you can then operate on it and modify it and use it for your needs. So both the example I showed there from a sample perspective are also available as templates. In this case, they just operate against data on an Excel sheet. You will likely start with these templates and then modify them and connect them to your source of data and make them more real. But again, both samples will give you great ways to just play on them directly on the web, and templates give you a great quick way of starting and modifying applications. If the scenario that you're looking for aligns with the ones that you've seen here. So if you're doing, for example, a case management scenario where open cases, which are in what stage of the pipeline, how are they being serviced, the ticket management, this is the pipeline, this is the template that you would use. Some of these templates are powered by Excel. Some of the other ones, like case management here, actually use common data service entities that we can talk about a little bit at the end. So there was a data first approach, UI first approach to building applications. So, Asa, how much time do I have? I'll show one create from data, and I'll also show how to use Microsoft Flow on top of it. Then I'll line other demos based on how much time you tell me I can take.
Yeah, you can take about 12 minutes.
Oh, okay. Thanks. So let me do quick. I'll do a quick blank application. Actually, let's do it in the. And you folks might already be aware of it, but I'll just re-bring it up. Is we have, if you go to ak.ms PA_lab, we have a lab that people can do. It's a hands-on lab, so you can do it in your own time. And it comes when you go to, again, ak.ms PA_lab. And what this lab has, and I would encourage people to do it, that the easiest way to build your first application using PowerApps. Let me quickly find an example of it, download it. So this is what it looks like. When you go to aka.ms PA_lab, it downloads a zip file for you, which contains 3 labs. And just go through it sequentially, starting from like installing the studio to building your very first control. All of that is covered in this lab, and in 1 hour you'll have your first cross-platform PowerApps build talking to Excel data. Then the next lab will have you add a Microsoft Flow to it, and the third lab then talks about how to use the common data service to further augment that lab. So I highly recommend people to use it. I'll give you a quick flavor of that lab, and in that sense also show you some basic control. So in that lab, the scenario there is you're building a checkout. So if you're building a scenario where if you work in an enterprise, you might be wanting to refresh your device like we do at Microsoft. So it's a scenario where you can choose what device you want to buy from, which are approved by your enterprise. So in this case, I'm building it against an Excel sheet. The Excel sheet has 2 tables in it, called machines and OEM. The machines are all the machines your organization allows you to buy, and OEMs are the manufacturers who build those machines. So just 2 sources of data. Now, one thing to note with PowerApps is that it is here I'm getting this data from Excel. This data could have come from SharePoint. It could have come from CRM. It could have come from SQL, Azure, all the data sources for which we have connectors. And PowerApps beyond that point is agnostic to the data source, meaning that today, after I built it on Excel, I can actually delete the Excel connection. And if I point it to a corresponding CRM or AX connection that has exactly the same name and the same fields in my entity, the application will continue to work. So everything that I'm showing you here will work equivalently on any Dynamics data source or on a SharePoint list, as long as the schema matches. So here I added the 2 data sources. This is exactly how you would add a Dynamics data source as well. From a controls perspective, let's say we insert a text box. This one is, as you would expect, right? You can just say the person who's logged in, you say, hello, welcome back. In the font, everything that you would expect of a tool. So I make it maybe semi-bold. Hello, welcome back. I can spell it right. And then because it's a SaaS service that we connect to here, I can choose the text field that I want to modify, and then I can also say something like and. Now PowerApp comes with some pre-built function that people use often. So we have something called user, and all I need to do is user.fullname. And now because I'm always logged in while using PowerApps, I'm actually able to connect to AAD, get my identity and get it displayed in here. So I did not write any code because the platform handled all that connections for me. And I was able to say welcome to the user who's logged in with just that one line of code. You can insert controls. Gallery is one of the controls we have. Let's say horizontal with caption. Gallery, the repeater control. So you design a template and you connect it to a table, and then this gallery for each entry will repeat the content from each row of that table, right? So in this particular case, I can do it visually. I can just click right here, and I have two data sources, machines and OEMs. If I connect to machines, PowerApps is now connected to that Excel table, and then based on that Excel table, is looking at what the content the Excel table contains, and it found a URL, so it tried to be intelligent. It put an image control in there. And here we have the text that's associated with it. This one is the device's text. Maybe I want it to be the name of the device. I can change it. So here I have a gallery that is by default touch friendly, built, that then works against the machines table. If I have, instead of name, if I wanted price, I could choose that here as well, and that would show up. So again, you're building your applications piece by piece with the point and click, and then you can write certain code for the type you'd write in Excel as needed, right? So for example, for this price, if I want to, there's a color property. So again, like Excel, I drop down, I find the color, the property, I can also type it in here, so color shows up. And then what I can say is color today is white, but I can also say that here's where I'm programming in quotes, because, so here I'm writing a function saying if price greater than 999, make the color red because we discourage you from using it, or you make the color green. And there, so now I have a sheet where I've programmed certain to show up as green, certain of them to show up as red. And as such, you build on, you use Excel functions like sort, group by, filter, distinct, and you operate on the data that you have. Again, it's where we find PowerApps primarily being used is where the client is still on the thinner side, right? You're still doing all of your business logic, your complexity on the server, on the backend that you have with CRM, AX, NAV, all your Dynamics properties. There is no elevation of privilege. Your AD authentication is going all the way through. So all the management security that you have from a Dynamics perspective is still honored. All PowerApps allows you to do is now quickly, in a very productive fashion, build a cross-platform mobile front end on top of that data and leverage it in new ways, like the Metro Bank example, where it's actually a list of customers, but they're able to now make it into a surface mobile app and have the UX that they need to be able to operate with the customers without having to make any investment on the back end. The back end already exists. They just connect to it and use it. So this was a very, very quick feeler. Again, I highly encourage people to look at ak.msp_lab, and in an hour, you would have built your first PowerApps application, and then you can go on to build your flow and others. And I apologize for moving fast. I want to just show you one more thing. Now, other piece that we allow you to do, the create from data that I talked about, that also works for Dynamics. I'll be demoing it in the context of SharePoint, but it's exactly the same experience if you connect to a Dynamics backend and then create a data on it. The only one thing that SharePoint has above that experience is that they're integrated. You don't have to go from the studio to initiate that experience. You can initiate that experience directly from the list itself. And hopefully maybe we bring these experiences down the line to some of our Dynamics properties as well. So in this case, I have a SharePoint list, and it's about, in this organization, people are using this to file for vacation, right? So if you want to create a PowerApps on that particular list, all you need to do is create a PowerApps Dynamics demo create, and what is happening now is we are firing up the web version of PowerApps Studio. And like I said, this is in preview today, but it's absolutely our intent that this will catch up and become on parity with the desktop and maybe the predominant way that applications are built. So now what is happening is PowerPoint PowerApps is looking at the list and deciding what properties exist and building an application that is a basic CRUD application that now operates on that list and allows you to manipulate it. So it's giving you a great starting point, which of course then you will build on top of. So here's the application that PowerApps created for us. You can change the theme in here. So it shows some default theme for us. We can go ahead and modify it. You can also choose that maybe instead of approved, the top thing I wanted in here maybe was the employee name. So I know there's an employee property there. Employee.display name. So now we know Megan, and here I'm logged in as Megan. So Megan requested a vacation to Los Angeles. This particular control makes no sense in this layout. So maybe I want to use something else and then realign it. So I moved to a different layout, and now I'm just seeing Megan, where she wants to go, what the status of her vacation requested. So you have a starting point that's already built for you, talking to the SharePoint list. It already has functionality to see the list, which you will naturally modify to view it in details, to edit it, all that goodness. And all of it is connected to the real SharePoint backend. But I can also create a new vacation request right here itself. So for example, so here I'm logged in as Megan, and I can have this be auto-populated because my identity is known. Once this comes up, I can choose start date for the vacation, end date, and I don't know if I'm doing this right, but let's say Megan like Seattle. There's Megan, and we put that request in here. So and you could have been doing this on an iOS device, because all you need to do is save that app and share it with someone, and it will show up on their iOS device. So what you just saw me do was build an iOS app that allows you to modify a SharePoint list with the UX of your choice. Because it's not, SharePoint lists are not always the most user-friendly way of going and finding for vacation in this example, or but if you give someone a mobile device where you control the UX and it's more optimized for exactly what they need to do, it absolutely makes it much more approachable. And now if you look here, when I refresh this, I should see an entry from Megan for vacation. So there, we actually modified the SharePoint list, and then the approval status is pending. Now, so I can also show you one more quick thing and then hand it back to Asaf. We also have a sister product called Flow that Asaf mentioned. In this particular case, when I go to my flows, and here I'm logged in as Megan. So Megan also has a flow in here where for that particular SharePoint list, what it says is anytime that a new entry is added to that SharePoint list, send an approval. So when a new item is added to the SharePoint list, send an approval email to the manager. And in this case, we've hard-coded it to Diego, but we can look up the manager dynamically on the fly. We have it hard-coded because we use it for demos. And this is a built-in step into Flow. So all you need to say now is send approval email to Diego and give him the options on whether to approve or reject the vacation request, and then Diego over email can approve or reject it, and then we can decide if it is approved, what to do, in which case we are sending a push notification to Megan, and if it is rejected, what do you do? And so this was approval email when a new vacation request is added, and when I click on an icon here, I can see that it ran 2 minutes ago because I just added a item 2 minutes ago using a PowerApps, and then you'll notice that what steps have run is that a new item has been created, approval email has been sent. Now I have not yet logged in as Diego, and I have not approved this vacation request. So that's why the other steps are still pending. It would, actually, if I could log in as Diego and approve it, you will even see it go into completion there. But what you just saw, and this would equally apply to Dynamics as well, is from a SharePoint list, we created an app that worked on cross-platform. We added an entry from that app. We then had a flow pick it up. We in turn flow send an approval email, we should be able to reject it if I am able to get onto. Sorry, I just need to get onto a in private session. Right. So this is just me logging in to show you the approval email. And again, folks, if you want to type in questions or if anything on those lines. So while actually we are there, and I'll show you one more quick thing for 2 minutes and then hand it to. Here's the email. Yeah, so here's the email that came in whenever Outlook picks up. So here the email came in for request. If you notice, the email already has stuff built in saying approve and reject. And now as Diego, when I approve this request for Megan's vacation, now when I go back to when we come back in here, it should pick up and show us that the vacation request has now been approved and gone. So here, the vacation request has now been approved and it's gone through and a notification has been sent. So just to complete the loop on these pieces, one more quick thing just to leave you with. And so here's Asaf mentioned that we are building a set of applications for Kathleen Hogan's team in HR, and actually rather they are building it and we are supporting them from a platform perspective that are already in preview, shared to a few thousand employees and will go to all of Microsoft soon. And here's the experiences that you can build on top of the same building block that I showed you. And here's what we built. This is more of a employee feed, which provides information about what's going on at Microsoft. So think about it at Facebook, for example, Facebook or Instagram or any of these who have a feed-based UI, but for Microsoft employees with local corporate news. And so this is one application that we built. Here's one around being able to give someone kudos. So by looking at Dell, we find your more frequent contacts. We allow you to contact them, give them a kudos. If I was on my mobile device, I would also be able to record a message and send them a audio kudos. This one's having issues with the API. I think they've taken it down, but this is around doing time and absence reporting. And the reason this actually API is down is because we have just moved from UAT and we have certified the app and are moving to production right now. But this will allow you to do time and absence reporting. So if you want to file a vacation, you can go to calendar, choose an entry, file a vacation. And I mean, within Microsoft, you know the experience we have today. And this is a huge upgrade over what we do today. So a lot of these upgrading experiences are coming with PowerApps. And then here's another small app which talks about vacations at Microsoft, and with just one click being able to actually connect with calendars and get it added to your Outlook calendar so that, you know, vacations are already marked in your calendar and blocked so that you're not caught by surprise with some of the new vacations we have nowadays. Okay, this was a quick whirlwind tour. Asaf, back to you.
Thank you, Saurabh. That's very helpful. So hopefully you got a sense of what PowerApps is good for and kind of the enablement that comes with the platform and how quickly you can create those custom apps using non-developers in your organization. So quick touch on PowerApps Partner Program and how you can take advantage of some of the resources we put together. So essentially the benefits that we think partners are seeing today, being able to grow their business, expanding their existing practices, building custom solutions using PowerApps and Microsoft Flow, all using non-developer resources. So being able to monetize and increase the bill rate that you're getting for your non-developers consultants and architects and admins. So in addition to that, we're giving partners the capability to differentiate themselves with presence on our web properties. So I'm going to share about what it is today and how you can get leads. We have, close to 500,000 users using PowerApps on a monthly basis, and that's expanding very rapidly. And so the partner program essentially have three components. One is to be able to showcase your solutions on our web properties, including Power BI, PowerApps, and Microsoft Flow. So that's a very unique program where you build the applications, you share it on our web properties, so a lot of our customers can see those, and you can get in touch with them very quickly.
Asaf,
yes?
If you could share your screen again, it looks like we're not seeing your slides. Thank you.
Yes. Yep. Is it better now?
We are good, thank you.
Good. So the three components of the partner program, one is to be able to showcase your solutions on our web properties in PowerApps and Power BI and a few others. And then, we have the solution templates. It's basically a full packaged solution that Microsoft has built, and we're giving it away to partners for free. It's a downloadable open source package that includes Power BI, but also has a companion Power Apps. So you can take those and use it immediately with your customers, tailoring that to their own specific cases. And there are about 7 templates today, and we'll keep adding those. Some of them are very popular, including being able to, for example, get social listening using Twitter for marketing campaigns, being able to report on things like System Center, Configuration Manager, being able to connect to SAP for account receivable. So those type of the solution templates that we've built, I'm going to share with you where you can download those today. And then we have this thing called the offer program. So basically we've created offers, things like a one-day training called App in a Day, where partners, we basically book venues in Microsoft locations, in the Microsoft Technology Centers and Microsoft offices across the world, and we give you the opportunity to be in front of customers that we invite, and enterprise customers. All you need to do is be able to train someone to be able to deliver the content, and we're going to share with you all the contacts, and you get the leads that comes out of those events. So essentially, how to get started, you sign up on the PowerApps.com. So here, if you go to PowerApps.com, on the top navigation, there's the partner section there. There's 3 components. One of them is to become a partner. Once you click there, it will bring up a form where you put in your details, your name, your email, work email, company name, and the MPN ID. Once you submit, you'll get an email invitation to roll up into the partner program. And there you'll be able to create your profile. And once you create your profile, this will show up here where customers can find information about the company and what you can offer. So here you see all of the existing partners that we have that are listed in the directory. And then you can start showcasing solutions. So we're basically helping you to create a page where, for example, you can share more about the solutions that you have. So there will be screenshots here. There will be a video of a quick demo of that particular solution. And here, customers can contact you directly. You'll get an email notification with the customer information about what they're looking for. All of that is also moving now into the Microsoft App Source marketplace. So, for example, instead of just having a screenshot here, there will be a capability to have a full-blown demo, a test drive, if you will, with an anonymized data. So you can embed your applications within the web page. And so that's a much more compelling experience for customers to find about your solutions. So again, once you sign up on the PowerApps.com, you'll get invited, you'll get an onboarding kit, you'll get invited to training events that we're doing for partners, and then you'll be able to get engaged in our partner offers and get those leads that I've talked about. So this is essentially what is the partner program. Again, I'd urge you to go and sign up immediately after the call. So just go to PowerApps.com and request to get listed. So, PowerApps.com, on the top navigation partners, become a partner, fill up the form, and then we'll take it from there. In addition, once you get invited, you'll be able to get into training events that we're doing across the world. There's a PowerApp Roadshow that we invite partners to get trained. And then, in addition to the lab that Saurabh has mentioned, you can also pick up self-learning tools. For example, all of the presentations that we've done in the last Ignite show, so you can pick those at AKMS_PA_Ignite. So these are kind of few resources for you. So hopefully you got the impression that there is a compelling reason for you to become a partner. There's a lot of customers signing up to the service today are looking for solutions, and we do have a partner program that is very effective in terms of showcasing your solutions and taking part of the partner offers and getting leads. And so looking forward to get your nominations and have you become our partners. Thank you again for this opportunity, and if you have any questions, feel free. We'll get back to you as we get them.
Well, thank you, Asaf and Saurabh for the presentation today. Hopefully you partners got some nuggets out of that and are more interested in joining up as a partner and getting some more training. So appreciate your time and attendance today. Again, we'll post this on our Yammer group. You can come back to Event Builder probably later this afternoon and be able to see the presentation. And we'll post any of the questions we weren't able to answer on our Yammer group. So thanks, everyone, and have a great day.